Good afternoon, my name is Paola Filippetti, and today I will talk about my ecocritical film analysis on the movie Up. With the burning of the Amazon forest and the wildfires in Australia, the exploitation of nature has perhaps reached its highest point, where the repercussions of industrialization and anthropocentrism have been fatal. Russell from the movie Up displays having a relationship with nature characterized by a more symmetrical power structure in which the way he values nature makes his treatment of nature more equal. Character traits. Russell's knowledge of the natural world comes from his training as a Boy Scout, which encourages him to understand nature, thus creating more symmetrical social-natural relationships. He does not nominate nature, but rather he sees the environment and other species as companions. He seeks to help, displayed in moments when he nags Carl Fredricksen to keep the exotic bird they have found in South America. Relationship with nature. Russell honors Boy Scout practices by using what he has learned in real life situations, such as when he uses the technique he was taught to go to the bathroom in the wilderness, despite having inconveniences such as not knowing how to build a tent and not remembering instructions perfectly. What he has learned remains in him. He is committed to honor this and to help nature, fighting to do what he deems is right regarding species inspections. Because of this, he faces perils and dangers, such as in the mention of Charles Mott, yet he persists doing what is right until the end. He expects others to do the same, which eventually brings out the best in Carl. Russell, a modern day climate activist. Russell's consistency with fighting for what is right is a representation of modern day climate activists, many of whom are young, yet extremely committed to the cause, going to greater lengths to fight for environmental justice. Russell is aware of the situation around him in order to fulfill his responsibility with nature. Children and environmental education. The education about nature Russell has received as a Boy Scout has shaped the way he relates to nature, making him see nature as an equal and as something to live in harmony with, not to exploit or control. For instance, as we are raised under an idea of human supremacy, we tend not to pay mind to promises or commitments meant to help nature. Russell's determination to help the bird at all costs is a rebellion against this ideology. The flexibility of a child's mind allows a smoother way through environmental education. The idea of being the center of everything by which existence is defined, as well as that of humans simply being superior and having the right to do and undo in nature as they please, are ideas that are taught from a young age. They are doctrines that can be learned and unlearned. A child is recently just discovering the world, and therefore has a more minimal view of the world, opening the door for environmental education.
Sorry, Russell. We've lost enough time already.
Representation of indigenous children. Russell is the image of all children, particularly indigenous ones whose education in proximity to nature have resulted in a respect they have for the environment. This character-loving relationship with nature is directly influenced by him being a Boy Scout. He is taught to harmoniously survive in the wilderness. He is taught about flora and animal species. This education and contact with nature has the potential to develop empathy with nature as well as interest to fight for the environmental cause. This is also the case for indigenous children, whose contact with nature and their culture concept of the earth and animals as sacred beings with souls, as well as the threat of losing their homes due to capitalist exploitation of nature often turns them into environmental activists who feel the responsibility to fight for the land they live in.
Fun into the bushes.
How character traits are reflected in his relationships. The trusting nature of this character is a reflection of what he is like. He is honest and loyal to his word. His childish innocence causes him to believe that everyone will be the same. This causes conflict in the film when Russell speaks about the bird he had taken care of, the one Charles Mons was looking for. He says without any intention of doing harm, though it can result in danger when he speaks without taking the consequences into account. The trusted nature and the honesty of this character are important aspects of his attitude towards people and the environment.
Follow you. Was impossible. How? Chocolate. But it ran off. It's gone now.
And to conclude, Russell is an example of what it's like to truly value nature in a world such as ours, and his experiences reflect the experiences of children who fight for a sound environment to live in, because they know firsthand what the threats of abusing nature are. His loving and enthusiastic personality and his childish innocence are what make his relationship with nature a respectful and equal one. Judging from the power dynamics normally involved in human to nature relationships. The desire to live in a world with true harmony between human civilization and the environment is a present in him throughout the film, in which resistance against the seemingly selfish attitude of Carl Fredricksen towards nature, in particular animals. In the beginning of the film, his contagious passion for nature makes him a role model. Carl was brought back to his love for nature and discovery because of Russell. He can also inspire this effect on the viewers of the film. The representation of symmetrical relationship with nature is portrayed in this character, making him an important one not just in the film, but in the world of the observer as well. These are my reference, and that's it all for today. Thank you for your attention.